Man.
Damn people.
Ma'am, I'm not a monkey though.
You originated from one.
I'm not a monkey.
You originated from one.
I come from God, man.
Taking over this. You can't even go into them stores.
God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I come from God, though.
They're getting black. Every time you go to the store, all you see is black. Look at your hair. That looks awful. Damn people.
Ma'am, I'm not a monkey though.
You originated from one.
I'm not a monkey.
You originated from one.
I come from God, ma'am.
Taking over everything. You can't even go into them stores.
God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I come from God, though.
They're getting black. Every time you go to the store, all you see.
Yes, you.
Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing, testing. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Yeah, so we're going in live. we encourage people to come into the chat room just in case they stop the flow and they cut it off. So we encourage everybody. Shout out to Joe 47 first in the building, Reginald Green, behind the scene Kings in the building. So we finna go get it in there, kind of in the middle. I'm gonna be in and out again. Yeah, this is dinner time, 5:30, about dinner time, something like that. But so we encourage people again. We encourage people to go into the chat room. The link is in the description box. Shout out to Copper Tribe. The link is in the description box to get on the call, because if they cut this, you know what I'm saying, they might cut this. And also, you know, we encourage people sign up for the 5,000 Elite. You know what I'm saying? We out here. We are a scientific, a mathematical solution in the in the community. Nobody's offering that. I don't think they really understand it, but it really don't matter, because we all together. So it don't matter if people understand it or not. So we encourage that as well. So let's go.
I get that, but how we get from the point where we done signed up on these contracts unknowingly?
Copy that. Let me ask you a question. So the first thing, can anybody hold you legally obligated to a contract you never signed? Yes or no?
No, but haven't I signed a lot of contracts that I wasn't?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. So I'm glad you said that. So here's some clarity. Did you ever sign your birth certificate? Yes or no?
Hell no.
So if you didn't sign up to be that name, then why are you signing that name on all those documents? If you never signed up to be it, then it ain't you. You're just operating on behalf of the Social Security Administration. As proven by the Social Security card, you became an unwitting participant in signing documents for them. Read the back of your Social Security card, please. And if you don't have it,
I read it.
And what does it state? Yes. What does it state? Do you remember what it states?
It was basically I shouldn't be operating under that sucker because it ain't got nothing to do with me and
right. What does it exactly state?
I don't know exactly because I ain't got it right now. But if you refresh my memory, I
want to say roughabouts. I think it states something to the effect of. I'll state that. So I'm not entirely certain. Something to the effect of, this card is the property of the Social Security Administration and must be returned if we ask for it, should we ask for it, or when we ask for it.
Yes.
Might have any one of those languages. Then there's some other languages after that, but those are the ones to pay attention.
I think that's spot on.
Since, you got to know.
Spot on.
Since you're just operating on behalf of the Social Security Administration, does any of those contracts pertain to you, or do they pertain to the Social Security Administration and the state only?
They're state-owned, Social Security.
So it don't pertain to you. So you just been duped into signing
How do I get out? How do I get out?
Easy. Now that's the next step is a couple of different ways. You can state that you're an Aborigine of America. A dossier helps to back that statement up. A dossier is simply a bundle of papers. We also provide that service for our people for a small donation that we request of $200. But definitely whatever you got that you could give is great. You can give more, great. If you could give less because that's all you could give, then that's great too. So whatever it is, but definitely that helps. And then with that comes a whole host of other documents because the dossier sets the tone of who you are lawfully. And it sets the tone that you are not the corporate fictitious ward fiction that's known as whatever government title is that appears on the birth, marriage, death, and whatever other records, forms, and documents. That document was created in colorable form by eugenics, government, and other officials to erase and eradicate the title and the term Indian from all previous documents and what's known as bureaucratic genocide. That's what our documents state. That's what our document. I don't know what everybody else's documents state, but this is how you're going to go into your HR, and that's what the documents state.
Bureaucratic what? Bureaucratic
genocide, meaning genocide by paper. So genocide, there's laws. That's 18 U.S.C. 1091, 18 U.S.C. 242, 241. All of these things on genocide, color of law, etc. So it's all the same thing.
Oh my God. We
So
got
with that
we got
being
to we
stated,
got to do this fast. I got to get on this ASAP
so with that
because
being
I'm not trying
stated,
to get mine.
any documents that's created by your government now, they can't force it upon you. You understand? So now
Oh
you got
no, I do.
protections of that. So now it becomes okay, now that you got that, now that you can either learn to be a part of the government and help run that branch of the government that creates the documents and send it out and mail it out to them, or you could be the part that just mails it out to them, whatever part you're going to play, but play a role in that and help everybody out. Don't just help yourself. Once you helped yourself, it's time to help other people. Dun, dun, dun.
Testing, testing, testing. What up? We got I am Flying Squirrel in the building. Just got in the building. Much appreciated. We encourage people to go into the chat. The numbers is in the description box. We encourage people to go there because if they shut this off, you're going to be missing information. It will be better if you go in and participate, so that way you can ask some questions and you can get some more insight. If you have opposing views or something you want to bring up on some of this knowledge, now will be a good time to get some of this knowledge in because I got a couple questions I want to ask too. And so we encourage people to go in the chat. The link is in there. You can call in on your phone number, or there's a link that you can click as well. So we finna go ahead and get it in. Peace to everybody. Here we go.
As a citizen, therefore you get treated as a citizen. But
Correct.
if you are an Aborigine, an American Indian, you have your government who are protecting you as
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, did we lose him for a second?
You lost your
I think we lost you for a half second, Jay. Jay Bone.
So, Kota, can you say the your what your confederacy is? The Iroquois Confederacy. What is it?
Yeah, you was breaking up a little bit, but I think the question was the Iroquois Confederacy. What is it? What does it mean?
No. Say the title one for me.
Oh, say the title. Okay, it's the Iroquois Confederacy of Aboriginal American People, right? The Iroquois Confederacy of Aboriginal American People. I'll see if
Okay.
I could throw a couple flags that we have. I'll show you guys the flag so y'all can check it out.
Well, how do
See that?
how do we the government for this protection? That's what I'm saying.
Well, first of all, you got to know what all of that is. So that's today's class. Is what is government, what is constitution, all of that. So can you guys see this right here? Can y'all see that on the screen? So if y'all on the screen, y'all can see.
Yes. Oh, I see it.
So there's one of the flags and there's another flag. So, but here's the emblem. Look at that. Is that a man or a woman in the center? Is that a man or a woman in the center?
A woman.
Right. So, and is that a man or a woman at the top?
Oh, yeah.
So as above, so as below, and her sons are protecting her. See, they got the bows, right? They protecting her, right? One to the left, one to the right. And you dig it. She is the creator of who we are as a people because all of us come through the womb of the woman, meaning the spiritual womb as well as the physical womb, right? Hence the higher self sitting on top of the pyramid and the lower self into this reality, which is at the bottom of the pyramid. And she created her two sons to the left and to a right, to a east, to a west, to a north and south to protect her. Correct? And the same symbol as above, so below. So we have our inverted self and our higher self as a manifestation along with our higher self and lower self, etc. Everything is combined. So it's pretty cool symbology, and this is one of the flags right there. Seals etc. You ain't dig it.
Unmuted.
I can dig it.
So that's just that, but the real meat and potatoes is the Constitution, the laws, and how and what we're in harmony with, and the things that we doing to make it better for us, to make everything better for us at home, right? We owe it to ourselves to fix our own house and to maintain it as well, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
So
Peace.
it's hard. Peace. What's good? What's good?
Everybody, I got a couple minutes. I got a couple questions as well. Well, I basically got a comment and I want to get your perspective on it, to see how you feel about it. Let me see who we got in the building. Again, everybody, I want to encourage you to go in the room because online you're going to be seeing and hearing things sometimes different than the actual conversation that's going on. So it would be better to go into the room. But shout out to everybody. But well, I think a lot of confusion comes from, and especially to people who don't understand and unfamiliar with the knowledge, is the word Aboriginal and the word Indian. Now to me, when I hear the word Aboriginal or Aborigine, to me, I feel like that's my scientific name. I feel like that's my scientific name on this planet. This lets them know what planet this whole thing is mine. That's how I feel. But then when I hear the word Indian, I think of more by law. You need to show, you need to, what I'm saying. I think more by law, I'm thinking more, a little more political, a little more American, and um and I wanted to know, cause Kota, you and some of the other people, you guys did your due diligence on your genealogy, and you did your family lineage, and you have paperwork, you have a paper lineage, and you are documented, I should say, quote unquote, or whatever, Indian. Now, some of us is not. So I'm not documented yet. I don't have the proof yet. And so calling myself an Indian, to me, I feel like that might be a little disrespectful for the people that did the work and for the people that's documented in their family history, in their family lineage. But to call myself an Aboriginal, that would be my scientific name to me. I wanted to know, how you feel about that. What up? We got All Time Flat in the building. I want to know your opinion on that statement.
You're right. I'm gonna say I would agree with you to a point, and the reason why you're right on both fronts, Aborigine is more of a scientific, according to their science, we ain't even an Aborigine. It's just a term that everybody can agree to use to describe oneself. It is not who I am. It is more descriptor.
Muted.
In a descriptive sense that I'm using it, not as so much as who I am. What I am is my mama's child. That's who I am, right? Outside of that, all bets is off, right? Definitely. So with that being stated, let's dive into the term Aborigine, which you're right, Aborigine, regardless if it's a person, animal, or plant, and now applies to persons, plants, animals, places, things, etc. that has been in a country or region from the earliest times. Mistaken singular of Aborigines. 1540s Aboriginal considered the correct singular in English, from Latin Aborigines, which means the first inhabitants, especially of Latinum, hence the first ancestors of the Romans. Yes, that's right. You heard it there. It's a Latin term. Why wouldn't it be meaning that? Possibly a tribal name, or made to conform to the Latin phrase aborigine, which is ab origine, which is separate. You see that? That's how I like to spell it, ab space origine, which is Latin, which literally means from the beginning. So when you say aborigine, you're literally saying I am from the beginning.
Right.
So does that explain the term aborigine to everybody? When you say aborigine, two words, it means you're saying I am from the beginning. Instead of you going around saying, who are you? I am from the beginning. right? Instead of saying that, you can say I'm Aborigine American. I am from the beginning, from the ancestors, the first people that has ever stepped foot on the land. You're stating that. It means the same thing. Another code term for Aborigine is this thing called Indian. So let's go to the Constitution Dictionary, and you'll see that Aborigine and Indian are synonyms, meaning they two different words that mean the exact same thing. So either one you want to use is both cool.
Unmuted.
No,
so
Indian, read the definition.
So with that being said, hold on, let me make sure you can hear me. So with that being said, can the people of Australia, can they be considered Indians too?
No. You're saying, that's why it's important to say Aborigine of where? America.
Okay.
Ah, there you go. Man, don't forget the last part.
Right.
Because there's Aborigines of all kind of lands. You just happen to be the ones from here. So yes, anybody who is the first inhabitant of their land is considered a what? An Aborigine of what? That land.
Right. But I usually.
And then let's check ourselves. So if that's the truth, then we are from America. Hence, we are Aborigine what? Americans. You get it now. We clear?
Right. It don't matter. Yep. So how you feel about, people?
So the term Indian, read the definition of Indian. What is the definition
of this country
are so-called. Thank you. So so is Aborigine and Indian synonyms. Is Indian code word for Aborigine? Yes or no?
So-called, yeah. The Aborigines, right. So that would be so-called.
So Indians and Aborigines are the same word, yes or no? And according to law.
It seemed like, let me see, the Aborigine, yeah, so-called it, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, right there. It ain't no I guess. What are we reading? This is from the Constitution Dictionary right here. When it says Indians in the Constitution, it means the Aborigines of this land are so-called, meaning they just so-calling us Indians. But we're really the Aborigines. The problem is, here's our problem. The problem is everybody who ain't an Aborigine is calling themselves an Indian. Do you understand the problem now?
Hold on, say that one more time. Can you repeat that one more time, sir?
Everybody who is not an Aborigine is calling themselves Indians. Period. American Indians, Native Americans, or Indians in general. And I don't mean the ones from India, because ain't no India either. It's called Hindustan. And India didn't come around till like the 1600s or something like that.
Peace to Original Copper Emperor Herbert in the building. Zoe Taylor just joined in the building. Again, I suggest people go into the room. The link is in the description box because they cut us off a lot on this show. So just so you can get all your information, and so that way you can get out some of your questions. Because I'm unloading some of my questions as well and getting some information. So we highly suggest people go into the room. So well, what do you think about people who?
What does that answer the question on Indian though? So the first one was Aborigine, and we cleared that up. And the second one is this Indian, and is that clear? I just want to make sure we clear on those 2 points, and then we can clear up.
Right. There's two different understanding. There's a scientific understanding, and there's a legal understanding. That's what I get out of it. Your scientific
they're both the same.
Understanding will be Aboriginal, but then your lawful understanding, it can be either or. You can play either or.
Well, it doesn't say either or. It states that the Indians, period, meaning the Aborigines of this land, so-called. It don't mean nobody else. It don't mean it didn't say the people who came down across the Bering Strait. It didn't say the white man who came over here from Europe. It don't say none of that. It says the Aborigines, bro. It don't kind of say it. It absolutely says it.
No.
It spells it out. It says THEAB. It says it right there. I'm reading it.
I'm saying like they're interchangeable, like they one and the same.
Yes, there you go. They interchangeable.
Right. So legally they one and the same.
Yes, and lawfully, and any other way you might, and scientifically if you really want to go there, because if it means the same lawfully, law governs the science community and the medical community. Say it don't when it do. Absolutely it do.
Okay.
Well, law governs everything.
Okay. So So how do you feel about people who like yourself who done their lineage, who have their proper paperwork, who know their bloodline, versus people like me who haven't yet? You see how you
Well,
feel about us going around claiming Indian when we don't have the proper paperwork versus Aboriginal. Like if I
I
come
would
to you and
say
say,
I'm gonna say I feel good about it because one, it brings the awareness of who you are. And just because you don't have paperwork, and I'll ask this to anybody, do you have paperwork stating that you're from Africa? I'm
anybody?
gonna ask that question. Do you have paperwork stating you from Africa?
Yeah,
Don't get all silent and fucking quiet
yeah,
now.
you gonna get
Let's
shot
all
in
get
this
quiet
room,
now when
bro.
I ask that
Like this is
question.
the wrong group you want to ask everybody.
Man, no, this the right group you want to ask it because you're
No,
about to get an
I'm
answer
joking.
right
I'm
now.
joking.
No, but I'm joking too, but I'm about to give you the real ass answer. So the question to you was, in order to answer your question that you asked me, what documented evidence do you have personally to prove you from Africa or not from America? How about that? Do you have any documents in your life proving you are not from America?
Nope, nope, no,
Since you don't,
yeah.
why do you believe you from not America is my question. And you're going to find out your own answer. The problem is you believe that you was from another place, and that ain't my fault. That's your fault that you ain't got no paperwork and you believe some stuff with no paperwork. Since you could believe that's so easy with no paperwork, I love the fact that you embrace coming home with no paperwork. You understand what I'm saying, bruh?
Right, I see what you're saying.
All right then. So recognize. So I'm glad that you acknowledging that side of you because it didn't take you no paperwork to believe that you was from Africa and slavery and all this other stuff. No paperwork do you have available to you, but yet our people boatloads, dump truck loads full with belief in that stuff.
Okay, okay. Well, what reason why I asked
Until
that question?
somebody can show me some damn slaving documents or some freedom papers in from their own family. Not somebody they believe was a family member from 23 genealogy and me.frog.com. No, I want to hear your great grandmama say it or your grandmama say it. And then show me some death records and them medical records. Show me something.
We got
Man,
Renee
show me you
Saponi
from another land.
in the
Show me
building.
that documents.
Peace,
So,
sir. How you doing? Please
peace.
welcome to join the chat, man. We would love to have you to join the chat. That's another elder in the building. You know what I'm saying, with some wisdom. I would love for you to join the chat and have some dialogue if you can. The link is in the description box. You can call in on your phone, or you can, if you're on the computer, you can just join the chat. There will be a good build get you on here. The reason why I say that is because me, I'm in the midst of doing my genealogy, and it's not that easy for
It's
me.
not.
It's
It's
not that
not
easy
easy
for
for
me.
a lot of people,
It's difficult
especially.
for me, and so I feel like and I feel like people who did that and had went through that struggle, probably sometimes maybe some people maybe a couple days, some people probably went through this throughout periods of time, maybe some years, to figure out their tribe. And I feel like those people had done that hard work, and I feel like those people deserve that title. And
Well, here's the thing.
people who
Everybody.
hasn't done it and who's just going around, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a little offensive to those people that did it. You know what I'm saying? If you
I
understand what
feel
I'm
where you're
saying,
coming from.
you're
No,
right.
I do, and I get that. And everybody's entitled to feel how they feel about a subject,
Yeah.
right? And that's cool. I don't care what you call yourself because I'm not with you when you calling yourself whatever it is. So I'm not the people regulator. I'm not a regulator of people. So the more people of our people saying they American Indians than saying they African Americans, I'm all down with it. So y'all listen to the sound of my voice. Kota Key Bay approve. What I don't approve of is leading people down a rabbit hole for your own self-benefit. I don't approve of that. I don't approve of people just saying they us just to get some followings and clicks and just to lead people down a lawful nightmare because they don't know the law with this thing. That I don't approve of. But I do approve of everybody doing the research and coming into understanding who they are. I definitely approve of that all day, tonight, and tomorrow because I can't tell you who your lineage is. Only you know that. And if you saying your lineage is Aboriginal American because your great grandmama said y'all got Indian in you, then you might want to take that and run with it. It's more harder work. It's hard work. It takes them, what, 12 years of schooling to divide you from your family. I'm going to say it again. It takes 12 years of slavery to divide you from your family. Kindergarten through high school. To divide you from your family. It takes them 12 years to convince you that you came from Africa when your grandmother told you you was an Indian. So it ain't real hard to trace your lineage. I say it's real hard to listen to what your grandma say. I say it's called being hard head. My grandmama said hard head make a soft ass every time. Boy, you don't believe the fat meat is greasy. Ain't that the frying pan calling the kettle black? All kind of statements she had. But definitely that fits all of them right there. So just saying.
Peace, Zoe Taylor. Rayana in the building.
Hopefully that cleared up some
Tommy
stuff.
in the building.
Right.
Yeah, so I encourage everybody to come into the room because this is one of the shows that get cut off a lot. They usually cut us off a lot. So I encourage people to come into the room. The link is in the description box. Come in, ask your questions. You know, come in with some, you know, some opposing views and stuff like that, so we can break this stuff down and we can hash it out. And you know, but other than that, Kota finna go in. And
all right, so I'm gonna put Luwak. I got one of the firekeepers of Confederacy on the line. Luwak, what's going on, brother? How you feel?
Muted.
Team on here.
Peace, brother. How are you?
Good, good. So I was gonna break down government. What is government? Why is that important? So I figure let Luwak shed a little light, and then I'll let Jay Freeway shed a little light, and I'll throw my 2 cents in. Y'all cool with that? Because what we're all asking is what we all need to be doing. So what is government at its core? What is this thing? What is this thing that we all take for granted when we say government? Yeah, I know what we think when we say government. But outside of that, what really does that word mean? And how does it really apply to us? And in what form and fashion does it apply to us? Those are some great questions to be answered, I think. And any other questions anybody got on what government may be to them? Please put that out there on the table. Put it in the chat. Please relay it to me, whatever the case is. Anybody want to take a stab at it, please come on. Give me your answer. What is government to you? But definitely we're going to read what government is by the etymology of the word and the etymon of the word. So, Luwak, if you don't mind, you want to go ahead and give it to us, bro? Government.
Sure, I'll read. Government, noun, late 14th century. Act of governing or ruling, 1550s. System by which a thing is governed, especially a state. From Old French, gouvernement, control, direction, administration. Modern French, gouvernement. From governor, to steer, be at the helm of, govern, rule, command, direct. From Latin, gubernar, to direct, rule, guide, govern. Originally to steer, to pilot. See govern, meaning governing power in a given place is from 1702.
Unmuted.
Hold on 1 second. I just noticed something. Can y'all still hear me in the chat? Okay, yeah, I just noticed something. I noticed where it says control, direction. That's one of our
I realized I wasn't on.
I don't know what to call it. I don't know. It's not a mission statement, but that's one of our sayings at the Fat Thousand Leaders: communications, control, direction, and action. And I find it kind of ironic that it's almost in that order in this etymology. I just want to point that out.
Yes, Carl, you've been doing it this whole time and you just didn't know it.
I didn't know
it. Copy that. Great for the revelation. I appreciate you waking up to that fact. But we're going to have Luwak to break it down because it means so much more than that. It really does. And it comes down to a center place on the inside, not on the outside. But government. So to rule, to direct. Go ahead, Luwak, break that down for us, bro.
Muted.
Well, the way I see it, going off the earliest sense of the word, 14th century act of governing or ruling. Now, it doesn't say exactly what is being governed or ruled, but it does say later on, originally to steer or to pilot. So if the Latin would probably be the earliest, going off the trajectory of the definition, from Latin, gubernare, to direct, to rule, guide, govern, originally to steer or to pilot. That would put into mind some type of naval, a ship, to steer.
It also is upon our own bodies. Don't you think we govern and steer our bodies? Isn't our bodies governed by our system, by the endocrine system, the respiratory system, and all the other systems? Aren't our body governed by those systems?
Absolutely.
And those systems
And
are
the
governed by the
definition,
mind and the spirit?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you wanted to go that direction, I didn't know if you wanted to, but
Go in
just
all
looking
directions.
at the general context of,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, because it's general. Like you said, the general, so
Well,
you can go in every direction. Feel free to latitude and longitude, man.
so looking at this definition, we see that government isn't deemed, it doesn't have anything to do with governing over people until later on into the 18th century, 1702. This is more based off the definition, is just simply ruling or controlling or directing person, place, or thing. So in the personal sense, a government would be your own self. You know, we as humans, we direct, we control, we govern, we steer our own selves before we do anything else. We govern over ourselves. So a government has to be understood as a government is yourself. A nation state is a government. And if a government is yourself, then the nation state must also be yourself before it's anything else.
Boom. Pay attention, y'all. This is real stuff he's saying. Absolutely. Keep going, bro.
So what do you want to expound on? Because I'm just looking at the definition of government.
No, great
I wanna move on to
expansion. I
nation
mean,
because
great. Yeah, absolutely. You made all the connections. To govern yourself is to govern yourself, and by us having a specific tenets or way that we like to see things to be within our communities and ourselves and our surroundings, require people acting and governing themselves accordingly. And nation states are based upon that key form of government, which comes from who? Mom and dad, the womb, the household, the bringing up, the raising, right? That comes from heritage, pedigree, and cultures that we created, right? Just saying. To guide our actions through life. You're absolutely right on. Absolutely right on. That's exactly what I was looking for.
it has a lot to
Yeah.
do with wisdom,
Yes.
wisdom and intellect and knowledge as well.
Man, absolutely. Can't leave that out. Insightful.
Because
How
how
do
can
you
you
again,
direct or how
Luau?
can you control
How old are you, bro?
a 25?
25. Look at that brilliant mind at 25. Give it up for brilliant at 25, man. We need a lot of that. I'm telling y'all, we need a lot of that. We need a lot of brilliant at 25, 14, 13, 12. We need brilliance. We need it at 65, 75, 85, 55, 45, 35. We need brilliance, y'all. Right? This is getting the brilliance. So we giving the brilliance. Keep going. If you want to expound some more, if you got some more to add.
Um, hmm. No, that's all I had to say on that. But there's a lot you could go in the direction of. You can go in the direction of intellect, of wisdom. You go in the direction of nation, what that means, what nation state means, and how it's connected to the mother. The mother is the first government there is because she produces
Yeah,
other
let me pull that up.
governments.
I'm glad you brought that up. Nation. Man, let's He made a great segue. Great segue. Government runs into nation, and like he said, nation means to be born. Go ahead and read the definition of nation of what you said to back up what you said. Go ahead, bro. I got nation up. Go ahead and read to what nation means.
Nation. Noun. 13th century. Nation. A race of people, large group of people with common ancestry and language. From Old French, nation. Birth, rank, descendants, relatives, country, homeland. 12th century, and directly from Latin, nationem. Nominative, natio. Birth, origin, breed, stock, kind, species, race of people, tribe. Literally, that which has been born. From natus. Past participle of nasci, be born. Old Latin, nasci, from pyroot, gene, give birth, beget, with derivatives referring to procreation in familial and tribal groups.
Boom.
The word is used in English in a broad sense. A race of people, an aggregation of persons of the same ethnic family and speaking the same language. And also in a narrower sense, a political society composed of a government and subjects or citizens.
Government. There you go.
A political union.
Constituted. Political unit, etc. They are one and the same. In other words, you got your jurisdiction, we got our jurisdiction. Keep going.
Constituting a political unit, an organized community inhabiting a defined territory within which its sovereignty is exercised. In Middle English, it is not easy to distinguish them, but the political society sense seems to have emerged by late 14th century and has gradually predominated. The older sense is preserved in the application of nation to the native North American peoples, 1640s. Nation building is attested by 1907 implied nation builder.
Boom. North American peoples. It didn't say the Native Americans. The natives of America as outlined in the definition of America. Belonging to the Aboriginals, which it also states in that definition, which is the state, same as it states in this Indian tribe whole thing, meaning a nation or a separate distinct community or body of the Aboriginal Indian race found in the United States. I'm going to say found in the Americas as a whole. So, with that being stated, yeah. Okay, so we're linked. So birth, government, all of these things are linked, right? Nation, government, birth, rank, origin, Aborigine origin, breed, stock, kind, race, right? We see that it all means all encompassing. Go ahead, bro. You got something to add to that? Let's keep going. You was doing good. Doing good.
Did you say something, bro? You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up a bit. Check 1 2. Check. We got you.
Did you say something?
Yeah, I said, was you good? You good? Or you want to keep going?
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
You could go into nation state.
Yeah, nation. So nation state is who we are. What we have a nation states, the state of being a nation or particular birth pedigree heritage, and that's what the whole thing of our government is, right? To have a government to government relationship as outlined in the Constitution, and to keep that going as long as possible. Meaning, they got to uphold to a lot of parts of the contract. We have to do our due diligence to make sure those parts of the contract are upheld. Period. Unless, everybody's agreeing on genocide. So I'm not agreeing with genocide, so that's what that is. So definitely, with that being stated, governments means a way of self-governing ourselves. And as it states in the Constitution Dictionary, Bouvier's 1856 Constitution Dictionary adapted to the Constitution and laws of the United States and the several states of the American Union, this is that language as defined in this particular book. So we see Indian tribes states a separate and distinct community or body of Aboriginal people.
Peace,
Right?
peace.
Peace was good. How you feel? How you feel?
This Libra son.
What's going on, bro? How you feel?
Good, good. How's everybody?
Oh man, fantastic, fantastic. So we getting it in.
Good.
Get it in. So I'm gonna pull up a couple of things. So I'm pulling up the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. There we go. And I'm going to pull that up and compare it to what government is and means to be for us as Aborigine peoples, right? What is our government? How do we exercise the rights of said government, etc.? Well, the government resides with the people and with the lineage and heritage of those people. Lineage and heritage meaning things that's inherently belonging to us as Aborigines of the land, and it negates or nullifies anything that does not have anything to do with us. For example, banking is not Aborigine nor indigenous, so any Aborigine indigenous talking about we got a government with its own banks and money, they ain't doing it right. That's called not correct, and that's called you're not in line with the ancestors. Money is brand new in America. You don't find no ancient Incan coins laying around. Just saying, didn't use it. Don't find no ancient Aztec coins, Mayan coins, Olmec coins, even so-called Indian coins. You don't find those. You do find U.S. old minted Indian head, buffalo nickels, and all of that, but that's something different. We didn't print that. They printed that. We didn't mint that. They minted that. So, since you don't find no old school American money, we didn't use it. So, it's not a part of our heritage, pedigree, stock, none of that. Ain't a part of who we are. So, that doesn't qualify. So now to understand what does qualify, we have to understand what our ancestors put down. And a lot of our stuff has been translated as this is a translation of the Law of the Great Peace. It's got about 117 articles in it. This is what the Constitution was created off of, because we mimicked a lot of things in our own laws and translated it for those people and created what's called the Constitution. Hence, this is what the Constitution is created off of. And on it says rights, duties, and qualifications of the statesmen, wampum number 17, or Article 17, so to speak, clan mothers to hold chieftainship titles via wampum strings. So we're going to kill the physical part, right? We're going to kill this part out. But let's pay attention to this part. The mothers, being in specific, mothers to hold the chieftainship titles. Let's focus on that part. So one, I was stating, and I've stated all the time, that no chief or nation can have a man as a chief. Yeah, the man could be the co-chief, but you better have a woman in order to qualify. So there's some basic qualifications. One of the qualifications to having your own government is got to be matriarchal, because that's the way we are. That's our society as Aborigine people. It is not patriarchal, guys. Anybody coming with a patriarchal mindset is not coming Aborigine American. You better have you a chief that's over you, an Ynga that's over you, a Grand Ynga, something like that that's over you, because you are to be protected and carrying out her orders and wishes, and that's the way that's supposed to be, or more jointly, I'm going to say, but it's definitely with the law at the top, and the women are supposed to be the holders of the law. But it states a bunch of certain items, I'll just say items, or wampum strings as it state here, but we'll say items, whatever in length. You could call it a tiara, you could call it whatever you want to, you could call it a scroll, you could call it a scepter, whatever you want to give, but definitely whatever the symbology is, it states this symbology shall be given to each of the female families in which the chieftainship titles are vested, meaning only the women can be the chief. It states the right of bestowing the title shall be hereditary in the family of who? What does it state right there, sister? Odette, where you at? I'm gonna have Odette read this. Where Odette at? You here, Odette? Chief Noyamina? Where y'all at? Where my women? Where the sisters at? We got Cam Titi. We got who? We got.
Oh, they're in the house. Hold up. You know I'm trying to cook and do whatever.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, come on,
Which one?
Odette. We're gonna read this
A
bunch
bunch?
of. Yeah, come on.
I ain't my daughter, but okay. A bunch of certain shell, wampum, strings, each 2 spans in length, shall be given to each of the female families. The citizenship
The
titles
chieftainship.
are
Chieftainship.
sorry. Chieftainship titles are vested. The right of bestowing the title shall be hereditary in the family of females legacy.
Legally.
Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah. It broke it. Sorry, cut
It's
it off.
okay. No, it's okay.
Legally. Let me see. Let me hit that arrow. Oh,
lawfully.
legally processing.
Like I said, this is
lawfully.
translation. Yeah, we'll say lawfully.
Lawfully possessing the bunch of shell strings, and the string shall be the token that the females of the family have the ownership to the chieftainship title for all time. Ooh,
Yeah,
for
come on,
all
say it.
time to come.
There you go.
Oh, subject to certain restrictions mentioned here.
Thank you. So you can't be disposed because you messing up, but definitely as long as you are adhering to the law, you there for all time to come, because America is matriarchal, it's not patriarchal. So any man heading it is doing it wrong. You already outside of law, because it states right here, word for word, that the women hold the chieftainship, not the man's. The man's can't be chief. You got a lot of men calling themselves chief, right or wrong? Right or wrong?
That's a fact.
Right? Yeah, got a lot.
I got a question about that too. I got a question if you don't mind, brother.
Oh, you can ask all the questions. I got answers, hopefully.
I know you do.
And with answers I don't have, we can research them right here together, and we can find out the answer together. How about that?
Yeah, I mean the answer I guess is already there, but so basically, who is adhering to those laws right now? Because
Good.
like
I'm
you
glad you
say,
asked that question. Oh, you asked that question. Let me go to that question, and you can give your commentary. To answer who is doing that, I'm going to say the Iroquois Confederacy of Aboriginal American People. Boom, boom. I'm going to plug ourselves. There we go.
Boom, 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 boom.
We doing that because that's what our Constitution says. So, okay, go on with your commentary. So, to answer your question, who's doing it, we're doing it.
okay, because
go with your commentary.
so the thing is, and I noticed that, and I'm saying it goes for all Native American tribes, but it appears that I have not seen one female chief. I've never heard of one.
Because
in the Native American tribe.
Yeah, because Native Americans aren't us.
No.
Yeah, Native Americans aren't us. They
Right?
from Siberia.
Right?
They don't fall under Indian. They didn't write none of this stuff. That's the problem.
Right.
The problem is they stole it and say they wrote it, but if you wrote it and you adhering to it, then all your people supposed to be women. But since you don't, that means you patriarchal. That means you're a liar, because y'all ain't the Aboriginal peoples who wrote the Constitution. So it's a lot of problems with their lies.
Yeah.
So they just be lying.
Yeah.
So that's called the lie that they selling to everybody. But the government don't even believe that. They just going along with it because ain't nobody stood up in opposition. We are standing up in opposition. That's what we doing because they not doing it. So whoever doing it wins. Whoever's holding according to the law wins. Right or wrong?
Right. Right. So that's what my point is, I guess. I think that's an important point and an important fact.
Are you on the internet, brother? Can you
no,
see us on the internet? Okay. I'm gonna
I see you on YouTube, that's all. But
okay,
I don't
that's
know
what's up.
this thing.
But if you checking us out on YouTube, but if you're just on the phone right now, let me also give you another tidbit, and then we're gonna go back to you, sister, and then can continue to read it. But definitely the term that appears in the Constitution when it says Indians not taxed, we the people, etc. Right? That term Indian has a definition to it, and that definition of all contracts, all definitions have to be clear, right? All words have to be clear when you use them, correct?
Right.
So to find the definition with the term Indian means according to the contract, when you search Bouvier's Constitution Dictionary 1856 and you look up the term Indian, it's going to state the Aborigines of this country, so-called. So Aborigines, we the Aborigines of the land. The Native Americans are not. This is not their law. understand. It is the law. If they can trace their roots to the tree, then it could be their law if they use it. But if they ain't using it, then it ain't got nothing to do with them. Correct?
Right.
You see,
So you say what? Sorry, what dictionary was that again? Was that 1861?
1856 Bouvier's Law Dictionary. So you can put in Bouvier's Constitution in Google search, and this should pop up. It'll say Bouvier's 1856 Constitution Dictionary or something like that.
All right. Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned the part about the definition of Indian, because
and Aboriginal. And
right,
we
and
also
in one and the same.
Yes.
Okay. So my question is this: now, when you go to number 2, it says in general, Indians have no political rights in the United States.
Okay, and we don't. Why would you have any political rights in a foreign system? Why should you? I mean, do you have any rights in your neighbor's house? Yes or no? Do you have rights in your neighbor's house?
No.
Then respect it. Why would you want to have rights in somebody else's stuff that we created for them? We didn't create that for us. We created that for them. You understand? We got our own ways of business and doing things. Our problem is a lot of our people wouldn't volunteer in a system. Do you understand that?
Right.
And
okay.
by doing so, you lose your independent state to a point. You become a ward of the state, because it says such a tribe may properly be deemed in a state of pupillage, and its relation to the United States resemble that of a ward to a guardian. Holy shit. Is the state your mama and daddy? Yes or no? Because right now it is, and how do you like it? You don't like it. So they really ain't. So now you got to go back up to this first part. We don't include the second part. The first part is separate from the second part. Are we clear?
Right, right. So I guess my point.
This is the people who ain't gave their government up. And this is the people who gave up their state in order to play government under another government, because it says under the national government. Listen to what it says. It says such a tribe situated within the boundaries of a state. So first of all, you got to be situated in the boundaries of that whatever so-called state. State of Pennsylvania, state of, or Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, state of Michigan. Where you from, bro?
I'm in Maryland.
Okay, the state of Maryland. Right?
All right.
So such a tribe that's going to be situated within the boundaries of a state. And it says, and what? And exercising the powers of government and sovereignty under what? Under the national government. You see that clause where it says under the national government?
I can't see that. I can't see that right now.
Because you're not. Okay, I'm sorry. But there's a clause that says under. I'm sorry. My apologies. There's a clause that states under the national government, and that means you got to be under them, and then you'll be deemed politically a state under them. You are capable of self-governance, but then it comes back and says, but is not deemed a foreign state in the sense of the Constitution. It is rather a domestic dependent nation. Such a tribe may properly be deemed in a state of pupillage, and its relationship to the United States resembles that of a ward to a guardian. Right?
That sounds like a Native American to me.
It is a native, that's what it means, but it also states in the 1860 census, those families of Indians who renounced their tribal rule. That's what they became. That's what they became. They became this new thing called a Native American, which was a term applied later, but definitely they became that.
And the biggest thing that they became was a citizen.
Yes, and then kicked you out of there and start going to colored, Negro, black, and all of this other shit.
Right.
African American, etc. Because you still playing in a system. That's all that is. But there's a tribe of us, nations of us, who ain't never joined their system. We upheld our part of the contract. You understand? Because the contract specifically states we are not to be citizens under their stuff. Hence, we have no political rights in the U.S. It says they cannot vote in elections for officers nor hold office. It says in New York, however, they are considered as citizens and not as aliens. Why are they citizens? Because they owe allegiance to the government and is entitled to its protection. but it also states, but in, it says, but in, whoa, but, oh, but it, I'm sorry, but it was ruled that the Cherokee Nation, listen carefully, in Georgia was a distinct community. So that Cherokee Nation in Georgia never joined with them. So we still maintain our distinctiveness. But if you give that up and want to play United States American, then you could do that. You give up your distinctiveness, and then you go under their rules. But there's us who never left that, so there's two sets of rules for our people. One is if you maintain your Aborigine status, we can't fuck with you. We ain't got nothing to do with you. But if you decide to play in our backyard, which is your backyard, if you want to come in the backyard and play with us, you got to go by our rules now. You feel me?
Yeah, I got you. And I didn't really want to stray too far away from what I was trying to get at. But also it says, when you said situated within the boundaries of a state. Now, what does that mean?
That means you're adopting the ways of the state. Meaning you got a state driver's license, state social security card, state.
Okay, so situated doesn't mean that you're in proximity or on the
land. It don't mean the land. It means state don't mean land. State means the state of being, your corporate state, your judicial state. It doesn't mean the land you own. The land you own is America. That ain't state of nothing. Remember, these states was labeled after queens and kings of England and shit like that.
So when it says situated within the boundaries of, that's only talking about the confines of the corporation.
Yes, the municipality. Yes, the jurisdiction. Yes.
Right. Okay.
And legal terms, because this is a legal definition. They're speaking about jurisdiction. Yes, baby.
Right. Okay, I'm just trying to make these things clear, because when people read it, you're still under the mindset of general understanding, right? So yeah, I just wanted to make that part clear. So the other thing is, so when you call yourself Indian, right? Shouldn't that automatically take you out of jurisdiction?
It should, but it don't, because like I said, it's got so many implications, right? So when we say Indian, don't just say you are Indian. Don't just say you are an American. Add the clarifier on it. Clarify, I mean Aborigines, right? So
I got you.
So I like to call myself, I'm an Aborigine of America. So that's how I like to say it. Because I'm an Aborigine. I don't care what y'all call the landmass. Y'all call the landmass next week if you want to. I'll be an Aborigine of next week. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever the changing of the name of the landmass is concerned, whatever y'all want to call this thing, I'm an Aborigine of it. That's clarified. I'm the first.
The reason that I pointed that out, because when you read the definition, it said that Indian and Aborigine was one and the same, right?
Yes, it does.
So,
but also Indian, when we talking, now you could say I'm a constitutional Indian. You could say that. Now you can say that, but that's
I was just going.
You're not
I was
saying
just going
social
to the definition.
Yeah. Well, you got to know that. So if you're talking to somebody who don't know nothing about the constitutional law, and you talking about you an Indian, they ain't gonna know what you mean. They're gonna look at you and be like, yeah, right, you ain't no damn Indian, right? Because they picture in their mind is, from Siberia, Long Range Tonto joint. Can you dig it?
Right. No, I got you. I was just talking about in terms of dealing with the government.
So now when you're dealing with the government, if you say Indian, they might make it mean Native American. See, they might take it and misconstrue it as that. So again, Mongolia, Tonto, and Long Range.
I got you.
So
But
when you go up to them government entities, be like, I'm an Aborigine of America, an Aborigine American, so-called Indians by the Constitution, then it's a different conversation, because you have well expressed yourself, explained it to them thoroughly. It doesn't leave any gaps. You can even add the caveat of, and just to be clear, ma'am, I'm not a Native American, right? You can make that distinction as well. So now your whole statement could be, ma'am, look, I'm an Aborigine of American, a.k.a. as codified in the Constitution as an Indian, and just to be clear, not a Native American.
Okay,
My
I got you.
ancestors are the first ones here, so if you really, you got to teach them.
Okay, but I'm saying as far as identification, right? How we identify ourselves, and if you make that identification, then that should take you out of jurisdiction.
Yes, every time you make it. So when you state that you're an Aborigine American and you got some documents to back that up, then you good. Because you got documents to back up that you're a United States citizen, don't you? Watch this. Check
Right.
game. Watch this stuff.
That is true, but here's the thing, right? Is what I'm trying to get at is that when you're reading the definitions are quite clear, right?
They are definitely clear.
Okay.
Absolutely clear.
So if you are making a claim, which is that you're saying who you are, that's the same thing as making a claim, right?
Yes, part of the claim. Yes, that's part of the partial claim.
Declaration.
You made a declaration.
Well, either way you look at it, you can call it a declaration, or you can call it, you can even call it an accusation, right?
Nope. It's just you can't accuse yourself. An accusation is for a crime. You ain't committing no crime. It's a
Okay. All right.
A declaration.
That's cool. So when you make a declaration, where is the burden of proof?
On you, because the claimant got to prove.
On you, and that's what I was about to say. That's the whole point of government. And see, when you say, remember we discussed earlier, government start with self, and what you identify yourself as. Of course, you want to be in line with it, and this is where UNDRIP come in at as well. When you start to understand what it means to govern self and what it means to be a part of a government that aligns with who you are, those things will be put in place for you.
Yes.
So if we have in government, well, we have one, but when you start to operate under that government will produce things such as identification, because there's a government-to-government relationship that we will have with the United States.
In other words, you can't just say it. You got to prove it. You got to prove what you're talking about.
Because
everybody come from Africa and all kind of other places.
Well, yeah, but they can't. Okay, but I got you. But at the same token, they can't prove I come from Africa, right? So my thing is So my thing is that it creates a question, or they can make a rebuttal to my declaration, but I can also rebuttal that. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is that
so the whole thing doesn't work if you don't have a government, is what I'm saying. You can forget all of that stuff. So I'm saying that the individual, as an individual, I don't want to say as your singular entity self, how about that? Right? As just you, without nothing, you could say those things, but you're going to have to back it up. So if you don't have something to back it up, or people to help back what you statement up, you can't say I belong to a people and you ain't got nobody to call. You understand? The bottom falls out. Now you fall into refugee status, and it's easier to put a single man in refugee status than it is to put a whole nation of people in the refugee status. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that they can't prove otherwise. And the only thing that they can prove is that you got a birth certificate and
but that is the proof. But that is the proof otherwise. Here's the problem, because all of that stuff says you a U.S. citizen. That is the proof. Otherwise,
but they can't prove it that I denounce or renounce my.
Sure they can. Because if you don't know your history, shit, they gonna mess you up. Because how many people are in jail right now because of the U.S. Come on, man.
I got you. No, I got you. What I'm saying is they can't show proof that I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no document to say that I renounce my my heritage.
But it is. The problem is it's called the birth certificate. It is.
Okay.
It really is. It's called the Social Security card. It is.
But I didn't do that.
That's your problem. You didn't read the application. That
No. I didn't contract with that. I didn't fill out an application for that.
Right.
Your parents did.
And that's where you get them at. That's where you get them at. Right. But
exactly.
I'm saying, but they do that all the time, because all the time you'll go up in front of the judge, they'll say, Mr. So-and-so, so-and-so. And Mr. So-and-so, so-and-so, and they'll say, yes. They acknowledge to be a Mr. So-and-so, so-and-so. So as soon as they got you acknowledged to be a Mr. whatever your government name is, they got you. You understand what I'm saying? They got you.
I got you. Yeah.
So when you go into court, you don't be like, I'm not government name issue. You don't be like, that ain't me. Because if we did, we wouldn't be in this situation. So hell no, people don't do it. When last time you went to traffic court and you said, that name ain't me, I ain't got to have no license to travel, and you walked up out of there winning? When last time you did that? If you ain't never did it, then you still a part of the system. Just keep it real. Not just keep it real.
I got you.
But that is the fight you got to have, and no, they can't prove it. No, they cannot prove it, so you force their hand to prove it. Hey, turn it on them, be like, why don't y'all prove it? Because y'all claiming I came from Africa. So now you turn the claimant ship on them because they claiming that you something that you not. So now the thing is to take the claim off of you. So can you prove, and ask them, can you prove I'm not what I say I am?
Right. That was my point.
You prove that I'm a U.S. citizen. And then they'll go into the birth certificate.
Yeah,
when they go into that, you need to go into Walter Ashby Plecker. So you need to discount their evidence. Once you discount all of their evidence, you break those chains, because the birth certificate is a link in the chain. The social security card is another link in the chain. The driver's license be like the collar of that damn chain, right? And the government be like the ball on the other end of that damn chain.
Right.
You understand?
I got you.
And the money and all of that shit. So all of that creates the chain, the ball, and the collar that the slave wears. In order to get rid of that, you got to get rid of that. You got to be like, look, that don't apply to me because I never signed up for it. I can't sign up and authorize a contract to come into existence that I have lifelong implications on me that I never signed or never knew existed. To this day, I still don't know what a birth certificate is. You understand what I'm saying? I still don't know the primary use of that document, but I do know Walter Ashby Plecker and Company created as a means of genocide, and I know I have the right to reject genocide and assimilation, and that document is a product of both of those, assimilation and genocide, and I'm not obligated to break the law and engage in said activities. My honor, are you going to force me to break the law and engage in an activity of genocide against myself? And ask them that question, and then they'll shut the hell up. You'll beat them every time because you know well the law. You better know the questions to ask them, because if you don't, they're going to string your ass up. That's what they will do. Sorry for the ass and all of that, but definitely I'm empowered and passionate. So sorry for any little ones that is listening. Bleep that out later. Or not. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
Right.
Now I have a question. So, say for instance you get fingerprinted under that name. Does that still work?
Yes, it does. It doesn't matter in which case they stealing from you, because they're attempting to murder you with a corporate fiction. Just because they get your fingerprints and attach it to a name, don't mean doesn't mean that that name that you agreed to be that. It just means you forcing me to be that, right? I could write a piece of paper. Let me ask you a question. When you got a Social Security card that anybody can remember, did any of the parents who filled out a Social Security card for their children, did you get a choice in what numbers to pick?
No.
And did you write your child's name in all capital letters on the application?
No.
Then why is there's some strange numbers and the name is in all capital letters on all them Social Security cards? Ask yourself that why. When you didn't write it like that, so it's not a reflection of what you did. Not really.
Not at all.
Not at all. Did you get the whole application for the contract known as the birth certificate? Just be like, what is this document? Have anybody ever went to the hospital and said, what the hell is a birth certificate? Or a marriage license? Or has anybody went into the hospital and said, you know what? I've been wondering, what the hell is a birth certificate? I know what y'all say it's used for, but what's the contract and the paperwork and the codes and regulations surrounding that shit? Anybody ever asked anybody that question?
It's evidence of enumeration or existence in.
No crap.